Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. And our top story today, lowering bedroom light for sleep might improve our overall health. Well, joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Dr. Minji Kim is an assistant professor of neurology at the Northwestern University Feinberg Center for Medicine. Minji, so great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Minji, before we get into your research, how important is sleep? There are some days where I just cannot get my 6 to 8 hours. How important is it for my overall health?
It's curious, right? We spend a third of our life sleeping, so it must be important. And more research is coming out to tell us that sleeping good amount of time with good quality is actually pretty important.
Yeah, a real important regeneration, regrowth, if you're working out, getting those muscles going, and also probably clears the mind a little bit. Now, you and your team did a lot of research on the impact of light. And let me start by asking, how important is it to be asleep in a dark room? Do I need to have it completely black where I can't even see my hand in front of me?
That is a good question. We are actually getting surprised by these findings that even dim light seems to have some negative effect on human health. So maybe it is important to keep it as dark as possible.
Yeah, keep it dark. I would imagine. And do you need to go out and buy new curtains? Do I need to get one of those eye things that go over my eye? Is that a recommendation?
It is very hard to block all the light, especially if you live in city or urban setting. There's a lot of light pollution, and like I myself, I'm guilty of like having electronic devices and just a charging light. So perhaps the simplest way is to just get one of the eye shades and cover your eyes so that no light actually gets through your eyelid. Because we think while we sleep, eyelids are covering so the light wouldn't get in. But the studies are showing that even dim light while our eyelids are closed do seem to matter. So perhaps an eye mask is a simple solution.
And I'm sure you can find those very inexpensive on sites like Amazon and other places. Look, I thought this was really interesting. You know, I went to bed as a little boy with a night light. I also sometimes like to go to bed with the TV on. Many people, as you mentioned, keep their device. They may turn the ringer off, but they keep the device right on their nightstand next to them. This is really not recommended. That blue light, that sound takes you out of a good sleep rhythm.
Yes. So previously, our team earlier this year did research with young, healthy people in their 20s. And they were invited to sleep in the sleep lab with some light on, but pretty dim, essentially TV on with sound off, which a lot of people do. And it surprisingly, just one night of sleeping with some light on increased their blood sugar and heart rate. And so those are the effects that we know are associated with eventually increasing the risk of developing diabetes and other negative health outcomes. So it's perhaps better to try to sleep in as dark environment as possible. If you have to charge your device and have the device in your room, try to keep it on the ground so that the light perhaps doesn't reach your eye level as much. And older folks or people who need some night light for safety, I don't recommend sleeping in a completely dark environment, right? Because then they may fall, and that is not safe either. So if you must have a night light, it's better to choose a color of light that's either amber or red, because we know that the blue light, the short wavelength, is the most disruptive to the circadian clock, or what controls, what tells our body what time of the day it is. And try to keep the night light as close to the ground as possible, and perhaps away from your head.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Kim, Minji, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about what you can do to get a better night's sleep. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms? Especially for the smaller businesses. I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
I'm seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. We're talking this morning to Dr. Minji Kim, Assistant Professor of Neurology at the Northwestern University Feinberg Center for Medicine. Minji, thanks so much for staying with us this morning.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a great conversation. A lot of people, sleeping's a lot more than buying a mattress, although a mattress is important. Having the right environment, certainly important. I guess I should have started off with this question in last segment, but let me just kick this segment off with, are we sleeping better today, given all this, the mental health, given all the challenges that we're having?
The sad answer is no. We are sleeping less and we're sleeping poorly compared to, let's say, 100 years ago. The reason being, I can speculate, but just abundant light is probably one thing, and noise. And we are living in this 24-hour active sort of society, right? That people are doing a lot more work, activities during a naturally dark period. If you think about hundreds of years ago, at night, the only source of light was the moon and the stars, maybe some fire, right? So it was hard to do a lot of things during the dark period where we are naturally supposed to rest and some of those sleep, right? So we are sleeping less. People are using the time to sleep, myself included, to do other things. And that perhaps at the cost of our long-term health.
Yeah, really important, especially as we age. And even if you're a younger person, this is going to impact you if you're not getting enough sleep. You can, when I was younger, I could do a lot of things. I could get away with 3-4 hours sleep. As you get older, it all compounds and it has an impact. Let's talk about some tips. Are there things that you need to be, obviously put the device down, don't, try to make the room as dark as possible, but how do we prep ourselves for a good night's sleep? And maybe this isn't necessarily directly related to your light study, but how do I get myself settled to sleep?
Good question. So a few things that probably apply to everybody is try to minimize or avoid the caffeine intake after noon. So that can, even if you drink a cup of like little espresso at 2 p.m., that effect can last, and including soda and other sources of caffeine. Also, within an hour to two before your desired bedtime, try to sort of wind down. You're not gonna like be all active and work on something and then like lie down and ready to sleep. I often find I'm like still wired, right? So try to sort of minimize activity and get your body and mind ready for that sleep. Try to minimize noise and obviously light, and those things would be helpful.
Yeah, and I like how you did this. It was very Zen-like. I'm sorry, go ahead, finish your thought.
One more thing to mention, this is relatively new, but maybe obvious, is try not to consume calories or any sort of food unless you have to for health reasons within 2 hours before sleep. And that includes alcohol. So avoid alcohol, caffeine within hours before sleep, and try not to eat within 2 hours before sleep. And that would help you with the better sleep.
Yeah, really good recommendations. And my apologies for stepping on you in terms of your comment. I guess last question, there are a lot of supplements out there. When I was growing up, melatonin. Now there are medicines that get prescribed. These are of last resort. I mean, I would think, and I would put words in your mouth. And again, not directly related to light, but it's all part of creating that environment. If you're having trouble sleeping, I mean, are these supplements or things that you should explore, or should you really explore finding that inner calm, that inner peace in order to get some sleep?
Really good question, because a lot of people struggle with having good night's sleep, right? And if you try to focus so much on sleeping well, it actually is harder to sleep well, right? So I would recommend focusing first on achieving a better sleep hygiene, all these things to try to make the sleep environment as conducive for rest as possible. And if you're still having a hard time achieving good night's sleep, I would consult a specialist or your physician before trying to use any of these sleep aids, because a lot of over-the-counter medications or supplements are not necessarily proven to be helpful.
Really important. And the last thing you want to have is a reaction to something if you're taking another medication. I guess this is, all right, that was the second to last question. My last question for you, should I go to bed at the same time every night? Is routine that important? They say eat your meals at the same time, work out at the same time. I don't know if you can go to the bathroom at the same time, go to the bathroom, do everything at the same time. Is that the case? There are some people who may work different shifts. Doctors like yourself may work different shifts. They may work 12-hour shifts, come off, have to sleep. But is going to bed at the same time every day the best outcome?
It's almost like you're reading our research plan. Yes.
Well, I do have it here, but I want to make sure I understand, because I think a lot of people are struggling, like we've talked about.
You're right. More and more studies are coming out to let us know about the importance of having relatively regular schedule from day to day. It's probably impossible to have like everything set at the same time, but at least try to keep generally similar bedtime and wake up time. Then that's important for our sleep health and also overall health. It is true that I work a shift as well, and that is not good for your health outcomes, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. And if your job requires it or your lifestyle requires it, you gotta do it. Well, really interesting study, really interesting information. Dr. Minji Kim, thanks so much for joining us. And we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
My pleasure, thank you.
That wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to? Drop us a line, and don't forget, for all the latest curated news and lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more, all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content? Well, of course, visit our website and our streaming partners. We're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN AM. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the First Lifestyle and Wellness Network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.